my goodness, I'm freezing. I'm trying to find a tawny owl that I know lives in one of these oak trees here. I'm gonna try and get some pictures of it. That's the plan. Hi everyone, Jonas here. Today is about photography, and there's obviously not one single way to take a picture, but there are some simple ways that you can make your photographs look more professional, and that's on the agenda today. 5 simple tips. Okay, so you got a new camera and you start firing away, you're all excited, and maybe you are a natural and your shots are gonna look awesome right away, but chances are your pictures are not gonna turn out as great as many of your favorite photographers that you follow on, for example, social media. If this is you, I'm hoping that this video is gonna be helping you out just a little bit at least, because there are some simple ways that you can make your shots look more professional, no matter what type of DSLR camera you are using. So I promised you 5 things. Let's start with number 1. Get closer. What I often see is people pulling out a camera, aiming it straight forward and start firing away without any real thought behind it. It's just that the view at the moment was so pretty that it called for a photo. Unfortunately, capturing a moment like that on camera is actually really difficult. But one way to make your photos more interesting is if you close in on something and focus on a detail. It could be an object or a person, but what it does is that it allows the viewer to have something to focus on, and it draws their eyes to an object in the photo, and it usually makes the photo more interesting to look at. And my second tip is, even if you get dirty, get down low. This is so simple, but also very often forgotten. If you shoot straight down on something, it makes the image look really flat and also a little bit messy. It becomes hard to know what you should be looking at, but if you instead get down low and shoot horizontal or slightly up at whatever you're taking a photo of, this usually makes it stand out from the background more, and even if it means you have to lay down in the mud and get dirty, it will make your shot look a lot better. And my next tip, even though it's really bright right now, is find the light. Light is so important. This is really what makes some of the best photographers stand out. Getting the right shot at the right time in the right light. Some days, like today, is all about making the best you can out of the light that you have. This is really gray, not the greatest light for shooting details. Mornings and late afternoon light is oftentimes preferred for moody landscape and nature shots. On other days, when the sun is high, midday, it's also really difficult because it can get really contrasted between light and dark areas of your image. You gotta make the best out of it. Next point, composition. How you frame an image, and I'm not talking about what frame you're using to put the picture on the wall, but how you compose the image is another thing that really affects the overall experience. There are so many so-called composition rules, but I like to refer to them more like guidelines to start from. Like the rule of thirds, one of the basic rules of composition, where you keep your point of interest in one of these crosses. But there are many ways to break rules and still create interesting compositions. I can't tell you how you should do it, but I at least want to remind you to think about how you compose the image before you fire. Lines, angles, objects, everything can create an interesting composition. And I think when in doubt, you can always go back to the rule of thirds setup. And last, play with aperture and shrink the focal length. A simple way to create interesting artistic shots is to drop the aperture number. The smaller the aperture, the shallower your depth of field will be. So only what you focus on will be in focus. And this allows you to pretty much direct the viewer to the part of the picture that you want them to notice, and whatever is around that point becomes almost like a blurry canvas. This is great for portraits, for example. Alright guys, that's all I have for this time. I'm gonna try and get a couple of more shots of this owl that's hiding up in that tree right now, so I'm gonna wait it out. It's really cold. I want to take this opportunity to thank all of our Patreon supporters that we have. We really appreciate your support for everything that we do. And I want to thank everyone else again, as always, for watching the video, and leave your comments in the comments box below. I want to hear what you think and how your pictures turned out better after this. Alright, thanks for watching. See you next week. Plan to shoot a lot more today, and then this happened.